There's a decision that's been made. And I need you to understand something right from the start. This isn't a maybe anymore. This isn't a let me think about it, or I need more time, or I'm still figuring things out. That season has closed. The door on uncertainty has shut. Someone who has been weighing, measuring, questioning, going back and forth in their mind about you, they've crossed a threshold. And what I'm about to walk you through in this video isn't speculation. It's not hopeful thinking. It's what's actually happening right now in someone's heart and mind regarding you. If you're here, if this title pulled you in, you already know who I'm talking about. You can feel them in your spirit right now. Maybe you've been sensing a shift. Maybe you've noticed something different in how they show up, how they communicate, the energy they bring when they're around you. Or maybe you've felt absolutely nothing change on the surface, but something deep inside you whispers that everything is different now. Trust that what I'm going to share with you today is going to confirm what your soul already knows. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand not just what has shifted in them, but what this means for you, for your connection, and for what comes next. Because when someone finally, irrevocably decides that you are their person, their forever, it changes the entire trajectory of everything. I want you to drop a heart emoji in the comments right now if you can already feel who this is about. Don't overthink it. Just let your intuition guide you. The person whose face appeared in your mind the moment you read that title, that's who we're talking about today. Here's what's remarkable about this moment you're in. Someone has moved from the space of consideration into the space of commitment. And I don't mean commitment in the sense of what they're going to do externally, though that will come. I mean commitment in the deepest place, where decisions are actually made, in the soul. In the place where we stop entertaining alternatives and start building everything around a single truth. Their truth is now this: you are there forever. And that truth has become so solid, so unshakable in them, that it's now organizing every other thought, every other feeling, every other choice they make. You might have been waiting for this. Maybe you've been patient while they worked through their fears, their past wounds, their doubts about whether they were ready, whether you were right, whether the timing made sense. Maybe you've watched them pull away and come back, test the connection, create distance to see if the feeling would fade. Maybe you've even walked away yourself, giving them space to figure out what they actually want. Whatever the journey has been, you're at a different place now. They're at a different place now. Before I dive deeper, I want to acknowledge those of you whose support through Super Thanks allows me to keep creating these messages. Your generosity means I can dedicate the time to dive this deeply into what's happening in hearts and connections. Thank you for being part of this community. Now let's talk about what final actually means. Because this isn't just strong emotion. This isn't infatuation or a momentary surge of feeling. What's happened in this person is a form of internal resolution. All the questions they were asking themselves, all those late-night wrestling matches with their own mind, all those conversations with friends trying to talk through their confusion, all those moments of what if and but maybe and I'm not sure, those questions have been answered. Not because someone convinced them, not because circumstances forced a decision, but because something clicked into place inside them that can't be undone. Think about the last time you made a decision that felt truly final. Not a decision you might revisit or reconsider, but one where you knew with every fiber of your being that this was it. That's where they are with you. And the remarkable thing about this kind of decision is that once it's made, everything that came before it starts to look different. All their hesitation now looks like fear they had to work through. All their questioning now looks like the process they needed to become ready. All their pulling away now looks like the contrast they needed to understand that they never want to be without you. Stay with me, because what I'm about to unpack is going to help you understand not just that this decision has been made, but what's been happening inside them that brought them to this point. Let me paint you a picture of what's been unfolding in this person's interior world, because it's important you understand that this didn't happen overnight, and it wasn't random. There's been a gradual dismantling of every barrier they built. You know how sometimes we protect ourselves by keeping one foot out the door, by maintaining just enough distance that if things go wrong, we won't be destroyed. This person has been doing that, maybe for months, maybe for years, maybe even while they were with you, loving you, showing up for you. There was still a part of them that wasn't fully in, a part that was hedging bets, a part that was keeping their options open. Not because they didn't care about you, but because they were terrified of what it would mean to care completely. Something happened that changed that equation, and I want to be specific about this because the details matter. It wasn't one grand moment. It was an accumulation. It was the way you handled something difficult with grace that impressed itself on their memory. It was the realization during an ordinary moment that they'd rather be doing ordinary things with you than extraordinary things with anyone else. It was the comparison that happened naturally in their mind when they encountered someone else, someone attractive, someone interesting, someone who showed interest in them and felt absolutely nothing. Because you had become the standard. You had become home. They've been testing something in themselves. Whether consciously or unconsciously, they've been asking, can I imagine my life without this person? And every time they've asked that question, even hypothetically, something in them recoiled. The answer started coming back clearer and clearer. No, I cannot. No, I don't want to. No, that future looks empty and wrong, and like a betrayal of what I know is true. Have you noticed them becoming more possessive of your time? Not in a toxic way, but in a way that suggests they're no longer comfortable with ambiguity about where you stand with them. They're moving into a space where they need to know you're theirs because they've decided they're yours. This shows up in subtle ways. The way they talk about future plans and naturally include you. The way they mention things coming up in 6 months, a year, 3 years, and you're just assumed to be there. They're not asking permission anymore. They're not checking if you'll still be around. They're building with you as a given. There's also been a shift in how they process stress and difficulty. Before, when life got hard, part of their coping mechanism might have been to create distance from the relationship, to simplify their life by reducing emotional complexity. Now, when life gets hard, you've become part of their stability. You're not what they pull away from. You're what they turn toward. That's a massive indicator of someone who has crossed from casual connection into "this is my person" territory. Type the word "forever" in the comments if you've felt this shift in how they reach for you when things get difficult. Let me tell you what's happening in the quiet moments of their day. They're driving, and a song comes on, and they think of you. They're working, and something funny happens, and their first impulse is to tell you. They're making a decision about their career, about where to live, about what to do with their weekend, and you're factored into every calculation. Not as an afterthought, but as a primary consideration. This is what it looks like when someone has decided you're not optional. There's this moment that happens in every deepening love where you stop trying to be the best version of yourself and start relaxing into who you actually are. They've reached that point with you. The performance is over. The trying to impress has faded. What's replaced it is something much more real. The desire to build a life with you that's sustainable, authentic, and true. They're not showing you their highlight reel anymore. They're showing you their Tuesday afternoon, their tired moments, their grumpy moods, their weird habits. Because they're no longer auditioning for the role of your partner. They've cast themselves in it permanently. And here's something that might surprise you. Their decision about you has also become a decision about themselves. In choosing you as their forever, they've also chosen who they want to become. Because love at this level doesn't leave you unchanged. They know that doing life with you will shape them, challenge them, grow them. And they've decided that's the person they want to be. The version of themselves that rises to meet you. The version that becomes better through loving you well. You might be wondering, how can I be sure this is real? How do I know this isn't just another wave of emotion that will pass? Here's how you know. Real, final decisions create action. Not frantic, desperate action driven by fear of losing you. but steady, consistent action driven by certainty about keeping you. Watch what they build. Watch what they protect. Watch what they prioritize. Their choices will tell you everything their words might not yet have caught up to saying. There's been a death of alternatives in their mind. This might sound dramatic, but it's actually the healthiest thing that can happen in a committed connection. They're no longer keeping a backup plan in their back pocket. They're no longer wondering what if about other possibilities. Not because they're settling, but because they've found what they were looking for. You've become the person who ended their search. And once someone experiences that level of internal certainty, everything else falls away naturally. I'm sensing that for some of you watching this, you've been hurt before by someone who said forever, but didn't mean it. You've been burned by promises that dissolved when they became inconvenient. So there's a part of you right now that's protecting itself, that's skeptical, that's waiting for the other shoe to drop. I want to speak directly to that part of you. This is different. Not because this person is perfect or will never make mistakes, but because the decision they've made isn't about emotion, it's about identity. You've become part of how they understand themselves, and that's not something that unravels easily. Now I want to take you deeper into what this finality actually means, because there are layers to this that will help you understand the full magnitude of what's shifted. When someone moves from "I love you" to "you're my forever," they're not just changing their relationship status in their mind. They're reorienting their entire life compass. Every major decision point now has you as a factor. Career opportunities get evaluated through the lens of how does this affect us? Living situations get considered with what serves our connection. Even the small stuff, how they spend their free time, who they invest energy in, what habits they keep or change, all of it gets filtered through this new reality. You're permanent. There's a specific kind of peace that comes with this level of decision. For so long, maybe they were exhausting themselves with internal debate. Is this right? Is this the one? Should I keep looking? Am I ready? Those questions create a constant low-level anxiety, an inability to fully settle. But once the decision is made, truly deeply made, that anxiety evaporates. It's replaced by something that looks like calm determination. They know what they're doing. They know who they're choosing. And there's a relief in that clarity that changes everything about how they show up. You might be seeing this show up in how they talk to others about you. There's a shift from "the person I'm dating" or even "my girlfriend, boyfriend" to language that claims you more permanently. They're using "my partner" or "my person" or speaking about you in ways that assume longevity. When they tell stories, you're woven into the narrative of their future, not just their present. They're saying things like "when we" instead of "if we." That linguistic shift is not trivial. Language reveals belief, and their language is revealing that you're no longer conditional. Let me talk about what's happened with their fear. Because everyone has fear around commitment, around vulnerability, around the risk of building something that could be lost. This person had that fear too. Maybe it was loud. Maybe it kept them at arm's length, even when they wanted to pull you closer. But here's what happens when someone makes a final decision. The fear doesn't disappear, but it gets subordinated. It becomes less powerful than the vision of the life they want with you. They've essentially said to their fear, "I hear you, but you don't get to make this decision anymore." This is a huge act of courage, by the way. In a world that constantly tells us to keep our options open, to never close doors, to hedge our bets, choosing one person permanently is countercultural. It's a defiant act of belief. It's saying, "I don't need to see what else is out there because I've found what matters." And they're doing that with you. Let that sink in. If you're comfortable sharing, drop one word in the comments that describes how this message is landing for you right now. There's also been a shift in how they view challenges in the relationship. Before, when you hit a rough patch or had a conflict, there might have been a question lurking underneath it all. Is this worth it? Should I stay? Now that question isn't on the table anymore. The question has become, how do we work through this? The commitment is assumed. The permanence is decided. So problems become things to solve together, rather than reasons to reconsider the whole relationship. This is what mature love looks like. It's not the absence of difficulty. It's the presence of determination that outlasts the difficulty. They've moved into that space with you. I want to address something important. What if you've been the one who's been all in from the start, and you've been waiting for them to catch up? What if you decided they were your forever months or even years ago, and you've been patiently or impatiently waiting for them to arrive at the same conclusion? First, I see you. I see the faith it took to stay. I see the hope you protected when it would have been easier to become cynical. I see the way you loved them even when they were still figuring out how to love you back fully. And I want you to know it wasn't wasted. Every moment of that waiting was building something. Because now that they've arrived at their own decision, it's solid. It's theirs. It's not something you convinced them of. It's something they discovered. And that makes it real. There's a particular kind of trauma that can happen when someone you love keeps one foot out the door. It creates an instability that's hard to build on. You can't fully relax. You can't completely trust. You're always waiting for the withdrawal, the distancing, the "I'm not sure about this." If that's been your experience, then this shift you're sensing isn't small. It's tectonic. It's the ground beneath you finally becoming solid. And you might not know how to stand on solid ground yet because you've been compensating for instability for so long. Give yourself time to adjust to this new reality. Let yourself breathe differently. Let yourself believe differently. Here's what I'm noticing spiritually about this moment. There's a divine timing to when people become ready. You can't rush someone into the kind of certainty we're talking about. It has to develop. It has to be tested. It has to become real through their own internal process. And whatever that process has been for this person, however long it took, however messy it was, they're on the other side of it now. The waiting is over. The question has been answered. And the answer is you. This is going to change how you experience the relationship going forward. There's a safety that comes when you know you're not being evaluated anymore, when you're not auditioned for someone's affection, when you're not competing with their doubts. You get to just be. You get to exhale. You get to show up as yourself without the anxiety of, will this make them leave? Because they're not leaving. They've decided. And that decision is creating a container strong enough to hold both of your full selves. Let me tell you what else this means. They're going to start protecting what you have differently. Before, they might have been careless with the connection because they weren't sure they wanted to keep it. Now they're going to guard it. They're going to set boundaries with people or situations that threaten it. They're going to prioritize it. They're going to fight for it. Because you don't let something you've decided is forever just slip away through neglect or passivity. You might see them being more intentional about quality time, more deliberate about communication, more proactive about resolving issues before they fester. This is what it looks like when someone treats a relationship like an investment they've fully committed to, rather than something they're just casually participating in. And here's something beautiful. Their decision about you is also freeing them to be more fully themselves. When you're constantly questioning whether you're in the right relationship, you can't fully settle into it. You're holding back parts of yourself, protecting yourself, keeping your full personality and dreams and weirdness a little bit contained. But once you know you're staying, you can unfold completely. So you might notice them becoming more fully expressed, more relaxed, more willing to be vulnerable and silly and deep and messy with you. That's the gift of certainty. It gives you permission to stop performing and start living. This decision they've made, it's not just about you. It's about the life they're choosing to build, the person they're choosing to become, the future they're choosing to create. And you're at the center of all of it. They've looked at all the possible paths their life could take, and the one that includes you forever is the one that feels most true, most right, most aligned with who they are and who they want to be. Here's where we need to go even deeper, because there's a spiritual dimension to what's happening that I don't want you to miss. When someone becomes your forever in their heart, something alchemical happens. The relationship stops being just about attraction or compatibility or even love. It becomes about destiny. It becomes about two souls recognizing that they're meant to walk through life together. And whether you use spiritual language for this or not, whether you believe in soulmates or divine orchestration, or just the beautiful mystery of human connection, there's something profound happening that transcends the everyday. This person has moved from "I want you" to "I need you" to something even deeper. I'm incomplete without you. Not in a codependent way, but in a recognition that you bring something to their life that no one else can bring. You unlock parts of them that stayed dormant otherwise. You call forth gifts and strengths they didn't know they had. You make them braver, kinder, more themselves. And they've realized that living without you, would be a betrayal of their own becoming. There's a particular kind of seeing that happens at this level. They're not just seeing you as you are today. They're seeing you in full dimension, who you've been, who you are, who you're becoming. They see your wounds and your wisdom. They see your beauty and your brokenness. They see your strength and your softness. And they've decided that all of it, the whole complex, contradictory, magnificent truth of you, is what they want. Forever. This is rare, by the way. Most people only ever see parts of us. They see the version we show at work or at parties or in the early stages of dating. But this person sees you, like really sees you, and their decision to choose you forever is happening with full sight. They're not operating under an illusion that's going to shatter when they discover who you really are. They already know who you really are, and they're choosing that. Let me tell you what this decision has done to their sense of time. Before, they might have been living in a kind of extended present, not thinking too far ahead, keeping things loose and open. Now time has stretched out before them, and you're in every part of it. They're thinking in decades, not days. They're imagining growing old with you. They're seeing children or adventures or quiet Sunday mornings stretching out into infinity. And instead of that feeling overwhelming or scary, it feels right. It feels like relief, like finally understanding what they're living for. There's a way that love, when it reaches this depth, becomes a spiritual practice. It's not just an emotion anymore. It's a commitment to showing up, a commitment to growth, a commitment to seeing someone fully and choosing them anyway. This person has entered that space with you, and whether they realize it or not, they're embarking on one of the most transformative journeys a human can take, learning to love another person across a lifetime. I want to talk about what's happened to their relationship with fear. We touched on this earlier, but there's more here. Every human carries the fear of abandonment, of betrayal, of loss. These fears are hardwired into us from childhood, from past relationships, from the simple fact of being vulnerable creatures in an uncertain world. When we love deeply, those fears get activated. What if I lose them? What if they leave? What if I'm not enough? This person has been wrestling with those fears around you. Maybe not consciously, but in the background. Those fears were running a quiet program of doubt. The decision they've made, the final, irrevocable, "you're my forever" decision, has essentially overridden that program. They've looked at their fear and said, "I'm doing this anyway." And here's what's remarkable. Once you make that kind of decision, the fear starts to lose its power. It's still there, sure, but it's not driving anymore. Love is driving, vision is driving, commitment is driving, and the fear just becomes noise in the background that they've learned to tune out. If this message is speaking to your soul, consider supporting this work through super thanks. Your generosity allows me to continue offering these deep explorations of what's happening in hearts and connections. There's also been a shift in how they understand themselves in relation to you. Early in a relationship, we tend to see ourselves as separate individuals who are choosing to spend time together. As things deepen, we start to see ourselves as a unit, a we that exists alongside the I. But at this level, we're talking about something even more profound happens. They've started to see you as part of their identity. not in a way that erases their individuality, but in a way that acknowledges that loving you, being committed to you, building a life with you, that's become part of who they are. It's not just what they're doing, it's who they've become. This is why I keep using the word final, because once your identity wraps around someone this way, it's not easily unwound. It would require them to become a different person to walk away from you. And they don't want to become a different person. They want to become more of who they are, and they believe, no, they know, that happens best with you. Let me speak to the spiritual warfare some of you might be experiencing around this. If you're in a connection where someone has finally decided you're there forever, there might be forces, internal or external, that are trying to undermine that certainty. Doubt might creep in. Old patterns might flare up. Other people might express skepticism. Circumstances might get challenging. This is normal. Anything worth having gets tested. But here's what you need to know. A decision made at the level we're talking about can weather those storms. It's not fragile. It's not going to dissolve the first time it's challenged. It's been forged in the fire of their own internal wrestling, and it came out the other side as something solid. Your job, if you're the person this decision is being made about, is not to test it constantly. It's not to create situations that force them to prove their commitment over and over. It's to receive it, to let yourself be loved with this level of certainty, to let yourself relax into being someone's forever. That might be harder than you think if you've been hurt before, but it's also the most healing thing you can do. There's a prophecy I need to speak over this connection. What's being established now is going to withstand everything that's coming. The decision that's been made isn't just about feelings, it's about covenant. It's about a soul-level agreement that transcends circumstances. And while I can't promise you that everything will be easy, it won't be. I can tell you that the foundation that's being laid right now is strong enough to build a lifetime on. This person has looked into the future, their future, and they can't see it without you in it. Every vision they have of what's coming includes you. Every dream they're building has space for you in it. Every plan they're making assumes your presence. That's not casual. That's not for now. That's forever. So what do you do with this? How do you respond to someone who has finally, irrevocably decided that you're there forever? Let me give you some grounded guidance, because this is where wisdom needs to meet wonder. First principle, receive it with grace. Don't diminish it. Don't deflect it. Don't make them prove it 100 times before you believe it. If you're sensing this shift, and you are or you wouldn't be here, honor it by letting yourself take it in. Someone has looked at everything you are and decided that you're what they want for the rest of their life. That's not a small thing. Let it nourish the parts of you that have been hungry for exactly this kind of certainty. But also, and this is important, don't make it mean you can stop showing up. Sometimes when people feel secure in a relationship, they get complacent. They stop trying. They stop being intentional. Don't do that. The fact that someone has decided you're there forever doesn't mean the relationship can run on autopilot. It means you've both been given the gift of building something lasting, and that requires ongoing attention, care, and effort. So keep dating each other. Keep being curious about who they're becoming. Keep choosing them the way they're choosing you. Second principle, communicate openly about what forever means to both of you. Because here's the thing, people can have the same commitment but different visions for what that looks like in practice. Maybe for them, forever means marriage and kids and a house in the suburbs. Maybe for you, it means traveling the world together, building careers side by side, creating a chosen family. You need to have those conversations. The commitment is the foundation, but the life you build on it needs to be co-created. Don't assume you're on the same page about the details just because you're aligned on the commitment. Third principle, let this decision heal what needs healing in you. If you've been carrying wounds from past relationships where people couldn't decide about you, where you were kept in limbo, where you were made to feel like you were never quite enough, this is your opportunity to let that old story die. This person's certainty about you is offering you evidence for a new story. You are chosen. You are wanted. You are enough, exactly as you are. Let that truth sink in deep enough to rewire the places in you that learn to expect rejection or ambivalence. Some of you need to hear this. You don't have to keep earning this. You don't have to keep proving you deserve to be someone's forever. The decision has been made, and it wasn't conditional. It wasn't based on you performing perfectly or never making mistakes or always being easy to love. It was based on them recognizing that you're their person. So relax, breathe, let yourself be loved without the constant anxiety of whether you're doing enough to keep it. Fourth principle, match their commitment with your own actions. If they're building toward forever with you, make sure you're doing the same. Look at how you're showing up in the relationship. Are you protecting it, prioritizing it, investing in it? Are you being honest and vulnerable? Are you doing your own healing work so you can show up as your best self? Are you treating this connection like the sacred thing it is? Their decision to make you their forever is a gift, but it's also an invitation to rise to the same level of commitment, to build something beautiful together, to become the partner that a forever love deserves. Type "I'm ready" in the comments if you're prepared to step into this season with intention and wisdom. Fifth principle, trust the timing of everything. Maybe this decision feels late to you. Maybe you wished it had come sooner. Maybe there were seasons of uncertainty that were painful, and part of you wants to hold on to resentment about that. I understand. But here's what I want you to consider. They had to arrive at this decision in their own time for it to be real. If you had pressured them into it or convinced them before they were ready, it wouldn't have the same weight. The fact that they got here on their own, through their own process, that's what makes it solid. So release any bitterness about the journey. You're at the destination now. That's what matters. Sixth principle, build together intentionally. Now that you both know this is forever, start acting like it. Have the big conversations, make the plans, set the goals, and line your lives in the practical ways that reflect your commitment. Maybe that means moving in together or getting engaged or making a major relocation. Maybe it means combining finances or making decisions about family. Whatever it looks like for you, don't just coast on the good feeling of knowing you're committed. Actually build the life that reflects that commitment. And here's something crucial. Protect what you're building. That means setting boundaries with people or situations that don't serve your connection. It means not entertaining attention from others who might be interested in you romantically. It means being mindful of how you talk about your partner and your relationship to other people. It means guarding your intimate space, the emotional, physical, and spiritual connection you share, and not letting outside voices or influences erode it. Seventh principle, keep growing as an individual even as you grow as a couple. Forever doesn't mean losing yourself. It means finding someone safe enough that you can become more fully yourself. Don't abandon your friendships, your hobbies, your personal goals, your individual growth. A healthy forever partnership is made up of two whole people who are choosing to walk together, not two half people trying to complete each other. So keep developing who you are. Keep pursuing what lights you up. Keep evolving and encourage them to do the same. Let me speak directly to those of you who are feeling scared right now. Because sometimes what we've wanted most is also what terrifies us when it finally arrives. If you're feeling fear alongside the joy, if there's a part of you that wants to run or sabotage or create distance, that's normal. That's just your protective mechanisms activating because vulnerability is scary. But don't let fear rob you of this. Sit with it. Talk about it. Work through it. Don't let it drive your decisions. You deserve to be loved like this, and you're capable of receiving it and reciprocating it. Eighth principle, celebrate this. Mark this moment somehow. Maybe that's a conversation where you both acknowledge what's shifted. Maybe it's a symbolic gesture, a ring, a trip, a commitment ceremony of some kind. Maybe it's just a quiet moment where you look at each other and let yourself feel the weight and wonder of what you're building. Don't let this milestone pass without honoring it. These are the moments that become the cornerstone memories of your relationship. If this video has touched your soul and you feel moved to support this ministry, super thanks helps me continue creating these messages for our community. And finally, ninth principle. Pray over this, or set intentions over this, or speak life over this. Whatever language fits your belief system. Invite the divine into what you're building. Ask for wisdom, for strength, for grace, for the journey ahead. Ask for protection over your connection. Ask for the ability to love each other well across time. Ask for healing for any wounds that might interfere. Ask for guidance when you face challenges. Because you're going to need something bigger than yourselves to sustain a forever love. None of us are strong enough or wise enough to do it alone. This is a sacred threshold you're crossing. Someone has decided, finally and completely, that you're there forever. And now the real work begins. The beautiful, challenging, transformative work of building a life together that honors that decision. You have everything you need. And you're more ready than you think. Let me bring this home for you, because I want you to walk away from this video with absolute clarity about what's happening and what it means for you. The decision that's been made about you isn't tentative. It isn't temporary. It isn't going to evaporate when things get difficult, or when the initial excitement fades, or when they see you at your worst. This is the decision that everything else in your relationship is going to be built on. This is the bedrock, and you can trust it. I know some of you have been waiting a long time to hear this. You've been patient through their process, through their doubts, through their need to be absolutely sure. You've watched them work through their past, heal their wounds, confront their fears. You've given them space to figure out what they really want. And maybe there were moments when you wondered if they'd ever get there, if they'd ever be able to give you the certainty you were giving them. But they did. They got there. And now you're both standing in the same place, looking at the same forever. For others of you, this might be happening faster than you expected, and you might be the one who needs to catch up now. Maybe they got to certainty before you did, and now you're the one who needs to do the internal work to match their commitment. That's okay. Take the time you need. But don't take so long that you miss what's being offered to you. Don't let fear or past pain or overthinking rob you of something real and beautiful. What I want you to understand is that this moment, right now, where someone has decided you're there forever, this is one of those hinge points in your life. This is where everything changes. The direction of your future is shifting. The story you're writing is entering a new chapter. And you get to choose how you meet this moment. You can meet it with openness and courage and joy, or you can meet it with skepticism and fear and walls up. Choose wisely, because how you respond to being chosen will shape what you build together. There's a particular kind of responsibility that comes with being someone's forever. They're trusting you with their heart, their future, their vulnerability. They're saying, I'm all in with you no matter what comes. That's not a burden, but it is a call to rise, to be worthy of that trust, to honor it with how you show up, how you love, how you commit in return. This is your opportunity to become the kind of partner who makes forever not just possible, but beautiful. I want to speak blessing over what's being established between you right now. May this foundation be strong enough to hold everything you're going to build on it. May your commitment to each other deepen with every passing year. May you learn to love each other better as you grow together. May the challenges you face make you stronger rather than breaking you apart. May you create a refuge for each other in a chaotic world. May your connection be a source of healing, growth, joy, and peace. May you be each other's safe place, your greatest adventure, your coming home, and may you never take for granted what you have. Because finding someone who decides you're there forever, truly, irrevocably decides it, that's a gift. Not everyone finds that. Not everyone gets to experience being someone's absolute certainty. So on the hard days, when you're annoyed with each other or tired or frustrated, remember this moment. Remember that someone looked at everything you are and chose you. Not just for now, for always. The decision has been made. The door on doubt has closed. What's ahead of you now is the most exciting part, actually living out a forever love. Building it day by day, learning each other season by season, becoming the kind of partnership that other people look at and wonder how you make it look so solid, so real, so lasting. And the answer will be simple, because both of you decided and you kept deciding every single day. I want you to take a moment right now and breathe that in. Let yourself feel the relief of it, the safety of it, the possibility of it. You're not wondering anymore. You're not waiting anymore. You're not in limbo anymore. Someone has made up their mind about you, and the answer is yes. Forever yes. There's going to come a day, maybe years from now, when you'll look back on this season and realize how significant it was. You'll remember the moment when everything shifted from uncertain to certain, from maybe to absolutely, from dating to building a life. And you'll be grateful that you both had the courage to choose each other, that you both said yes to something that required vulnerability and faith and a willingness to risk your heart completely. This is what you've been hoping for. This is what you've been praying for, working toward, waiting for. And it's here. It's not coming someday, it's happening right now. Someone has finally decided you're there forever. It's final. There are no more doubts. There's no turning back now. And the most beautiful part? You get to step into that reality and start building the forever you both have chosen. If you've made it to the end of this video, you're exactly where you need to be. This message found you at the perfect time. Whether you needed confirmation, clarity, courage, or just someone to put words to what you've been sensing, you have it now. Trust what you know. Trust what's shifting. Trust what's being built. Trust that this decision that's been made about you is real and solid and worth every bit of trust you're putting in it. Drop a word of encouragement in the comments for someone else who needed to hear this today. Let's create a space where people who are stepping into forever love can celebrate together, support each other, and remind each other that we're not alone in this beautiful, terrifying, transformative journey. And to the person who decided you're there forever, the one you thought of the moment you saw this title, they know what they're doing. They know who you are. They know what they're choosing. And they're choosing you. Not the perfect version of you that doesn't exist. Not the version that has it all together. You. The real, complex, beautiful, imperfect, magnificent you. And they're not going anywhere. This is your season. This is your moment. This is your forever beginning. Walk into it with your head held high and your heart wide open. You deserve this. You're ready for this. And everything you've been through has prepared you for exactly this. The decision has been made. You are there forever. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is going to change that. Welcome to the rest of your life.